All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, and today I am joined by a killer cast of characters. We've got Brad Whitbeck, as well as Austin Falter and Jacob Hansen from Thoughtful Faith. And today we're going to be talking about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints finally fighting back against some of the most heinous accusations. I haven't seen an FAFO like this in a really, really long time. Do you know how badly you need to lie about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to get them to name you by name in a press release? And the audacity of this cat to go after the part of our a church that is staffed uniquely by what? Record-keeping lawyers on recorded lines. You know, like the stones on this cat to think that you can just pull an ex-mo, anti-mo, made-up story is just absolutely mind-blowing. So consistent with the rules of Anti-Mormons number 7, okay, they adopt a new revisionist history. You know, remember that one, guys? Bo Euler tried spitting the revisionist history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints being this, you know, abusive industry that just protects pedophiles and so on and so forth. And the lawyers weren't having it. Finally, for only the second time in my life, has the church officially fought back. So we're going to be reacting to this, guys. This is the press release here that the church came out with, getting it right, clarifying claims about the church abuse helpline. I don't know. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Guys, I've spoken too much. What do y'all think?
Dude, I'm just psyched. I'm really glad that the church said what they said and helped make things clear. An interesting thing about what you said, Cardin.
FAFO?
No. Where you were mentioning how could he expect to say this without them having some way of having some kind of response, right? And this was something really interesting that came up on X when I posted about this. When I went and posted about this on X and had some discussions with some people, I saw something interesting. There were people who, rather than say, oh, so this dude was totally lying, they said, oh, so did the church lie about keeping records? Because they said that they don't keep records of this kind of thing in this thing in Arizona, right? And there seemed to be more than one person who had a complex relationship with the church who brought up thinking that the church didn't keep records of this because of some things that had been said about the case in Arizona about this. And so that made me start wondering, did Bo think that? Was Bo thinking that the church didn't have record of this because of this? And did that embolden him to say what he said? I have no idea. Maybe that would be like if he was intending to lie about this, then he would maybe think that way, when it's probably more likely that he's just rewritten his memory of the events over time, right?
Yeah, he could have forgotten, right? Ex-Mormons have notoriously bad memory for the most important things in life. So, I don't know.
Everyone has
Ex-Mormon,
kind of
anti-Mormons, not all ex-Mormons.
Ex-Mormon, anti-Mormons, with great hair. With great hair, I might add.
Oh, dude, that is true.
Well, memory is a slippery thing, but I think that it was just a fascinating side of the conversation that I had not considered at all. But yeah, it was interesting to see how people were responding to that.
So let's see what the church here actually said. So we're all dealing with the facts and the figures here in real time. Here's the statement officially released from the church, titled Getting It Right. And this actually comes from the official site of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, specifically their newsroom. So at newsroom.churchofjesuschrist.org, it says the following: Getting It Right, clarifying claims about the church abuse helpline. A recently circulated social media video features Bo Euler, a former bishop of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, recounting an experience from more than a decade ago involving a member who confessed to abuse. His account includes serious allegations about the church abuse helpline. Because those allegations are not supported by the facts, additional context from contemporaneous records is necessary to correct the record. That is niceness
Savage.
culture's worst.
Dude, I don't even think it's niceness culture. It's just like, as per my last email, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
this is
yeah, right.
lawyer speak.
No, it was the thing I love about the whole situation that makes me happy is because all you get, there's an entire industry built on having people tell one side of the story. Okay.
Mm.
It's a podcast known as Mormon Stories. It should be called Mormon One-Sided Stories.
Actually, it's going to be
Ex-Mormon One-Sided
changed
Stories.
to ex-Mormon stories because he's in there today meeting with the
Yeah.
church lawyer.
Yeah, going through some mediation,
Yes,
huh?
and that's
Yeah,
exactly
it's
what
a
they
good
should do.
day.
They should-
It's a good day.
Look, it is a good day. President Oates is out swinging. But here's the thing, though. In all reality, that show is just go watch it. What you notice is this: you're only hearing one side of the story.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody knows when you have a controversial story, you get two sides. And if you literally just went into a courtroom and you just kept hearing just the prosecution. We're a courthouse that all we do is we hear the prosecution. We never hear the defense. And so the problem is when you do that, you come across as totally biased because you are, and you aren't actually looking for the facts. You're just letting people tell their stories. And so what you do is you just get one side. Now, here's my whole thing. There's two sides to every story. This is a perfect example, and I'm so glad the church does this. The reason the church doesn't normally go out and talk about these kinds of things is because things that are done in confidence within church councils and other kind of, within the seal of confidentiality, the church doesn't go out and blabber and talk about. And people know that, and they take advantage of that fact. This case is one where, like Cardin said, you F around and then you find out, because what he did is he went and made serious sort of legal allegations. And then the church was like, okay, let's give the other side. So what I love about this is what this is doing is it's allowing people to see that you might get a side of the story and you feel all empathetic and, oh, this guy, and look at his nice hair and how he talks. And he just seems such just a good dude. And then you find out that he's just lying through his friggin' teeth, which is exactly what the facts show. And so it's kind of like, hey, how about everybody learns a little lesson here? Whenever you hear a controversial attack on someone, you need to hear the other side of the story. If you haven't gotten all of the facts from the other side, then don't assume that you know what you're talking about.
And just so that everyone is on the same page, I want to cover some of the stuff from the church's brief, right?
Yeah.
They have this little breakdown of what the video claims, of what Bo Euler said, and then what the records show.
So you took the words right out of my. Just start reading it, bro. Just start reading it.
Should we read it,
Okay.
or should we watch what he actually said in the video? We can.
Oh, we
have
got the clips. Yeah, let's pull the clips.
Okay.
Sure, yeah, let's pull up the clips.
Sure. What are the clips?
just
So let's
do it?
start out right here so everybody sees exactly what it is that we're talking about. You put the clips in
Yeah.
the Discord, I assume?
If you have do you have the link to the video? I have the timestamps.
Oh, you have the timestamps. Is it the soft white underbelly clip that we're talking
soft
about?
white underbelly.
Why don't you start out by just reading what he said and then how the church responded as I look up that video right now. Okay, Brad?
Yeah, as you're looking it up, the summary from the church is, in the video, Mr. Euler asserts the following. He contacted the church abuse helpline and spoke only with attorneys. He was told that he had no responsibility to take action as he was not a mandatory reporter. No one asked about the safety of the child or the family's circumstances, and then the helpline exists to protect the church rather than the victims of abuse. Now, what the records show, according to the church, are that the helpline records from August 2013 directly contradict this narrative. Mr. Euler contacted the helpline 3 times over a 3-day period and spoke with both an attorney and a licensed social worker. At the time of the initial call, the helpline personnel understood that a therapist had already reported the abuse to civil authorities.
Wah, wah.
Okay.
The social worker discussed steps to support the victim and family.
Wah, wah.
In a final call that same week, Mr. Euler confirmed that the therapist had reported the abuse and that the offender had subsequently self-reported. Helpline personnel also communicated with the stake president to ensure appropriate follow-up, and no concerns about the matter were handled, about how the matter was handled were raised with the church at the time. The first indication of dissatisfaction came more than 13 years later through the recent social media video.
Dude, that is
So he's-
hardcore right
So
there.
he does nothing about this. No, oh, this was handled inappropriately, or though this is an issue, until he gets a chance to go out and crap on the church after he's left. Interesting.
Yeah. No, so I got to tell you.
It's always in the name of like the church is harmful, and so I'm gonna go out about this helpline because I'm protecting children, right? It's like I'm protecting children, but lying about the church abuse line doesn't protect any children. Like
Yeah.
I always want to ask these people, like who's the enabler of abuse more often than not? Like, is it the person who, okay, they leave the church because they're sketched out about the church abuse hotline, and now on a Tuesday night they're sitting at home and liking social media posts that are harmful to the church? Or how about person B, who's like serving in their community, in their ward, and like takes a training every 2 years on like how to watch out for abuse, and they're like helping and they're solving these core issues that sometimes lead to abuse, like fatherlessness or like addictions and things. It's like, who's more the enabler of abuse? The person who says church harmful, I'm gonna go off into, and that's just what it just always gets to me. It's like I get that there might be issues that we can talk about, but then they're like, church harmful, you're enabling abuse by being a part of the system, and it drives me crazy.
Well, here's what's funny.
And not
He-
only
he
that.
says-
Go ahead.
He says here, remember, he was a part of the church.
Yeah.
He's a part of the church, and he didn't complain at all about this to anyone until this social media video. So basically, it's like, okay, if something bad was going on, why did you keep your mouth shut about it for 13 years? Like, you were the one who was part of the system, and you didn't do anything about it.
No, but
You
now
didn't
he's
talk to anyone, you
awake.
didn't complain.
Now he's awake. Social progressivism has opened his eyes. You know, therapeutic deism has made a high priest of child protection out of him. I get so absolutely tired of, like, it's anti-Mormon rule number 4 is they're always trying to co-opt other churches' scandals in order to do damage to ours. There was heinous abuse in the Catholic Church in both Boston and Los Angeles. Some of the worst cases came out of both those two cities where I have friends. I know families that were personally affected by this. And yes, like any good system with 16 million people, the Mormon Church will have bad apples. But we've been going long before the law required it, too deep in all of our classes, Sunday school classrooms, door open. If you ever volunteered in the Boy Scouts, you guys all had to do the most awkward child protective training on the planet to make sure that you identified it and just removed anything that might be a catalyst for abuse. And if you go watch the Fair Mormon Conference, the guy from Curtin McConkie that actually did the presentation on how the church helps, like no other church has a helpline like this. No other church has a paid for with tithing dollars, completely free and subsidized group of lawyers familiar with every state's law that have passed the bar in those states and are legally allowed to represent the church in those states, counseling with how can you help the family and these children of God that may have been involved in some kind of abuse, and do it in a legal way that sticks.
Because some people may not realize, but it varies state by state. Not every confession is allowed to be reported to the authorities, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Having served in a bishopric, I can tell you right now, first of all, you do get trained on like how to handle these sorts of situations. The child's welfare is always at the top of the list, but there is a legal complication for what Brad just mentioned. In some states, you actually are legally liable if you go and report, because they have a seal of confession that doesn't allow for this. It doesn't allow for you to report it, and you can be legally held liable. Now, here's the thing.
And not only are you in danger, but it will mess up the court case. It would
Correct.
make
Yep.
it so they
Yep.
cannot convict the abuser, right? That's the thing
Right.
I think people keep missing about this. They think, oh, well, shouldn't you mandatorily report in every situation? And that's a valid question that is worth exploring and looking into. But as it stands right now, we have different ways of going about it in different states. And so if we don't have our bishops going about this in the way that the law is set up, it could end up messing up investigations and letting people go free, right?
Yeah. So
and
what?
sometimes the helpline, you call the helpline and the answer is, okay, call the police, right? Like that. That's the answer. And
Yeah.
other times the answer is, oh, there's an ongoing investigation at the police department and you can't mess with this right now. And other times it's, well, you're in a state where we can't do anything. And so really try to encourage the person to come forward.
Or
It's
you have to
different everywhere.
encourage family that is aware of it. Like, I've talked to
Sure.
bishops about this, because when this came out and Bo Euler was saying this, I've talked to bishops who have been told by the helpline, your state prohibits you from violating
Clergy penitent privilege.
penitent privilege. Okay. However, you can call the wife and the kids and say, I want you to go. Oh, and I get tearful-eyed about this. I've talked to men who've literally said, I need you to go to a hotel tonight and we're going to pay for it. And no, I can't tell you anything. Like, but come in and talk with me and I'm going to have an interview with you tomorrow or whatever. Like, they go out of their way, all expenses paid, to try and protect kids in a way I don't get out of school districts in Los Angeles. I send my kids to more dangerous institutions when I send them to public schools in Los Angeles.
Yep.
And Bo Euler just completely co-opts the scandal of LA Unified School District, of the Catholic Church, and tries to shove it into his little brand of anti-Mormonism, but he's so dang good at it. What did I say in our first podcast when this first came out? Do you guys remember?
Mm-mm.
I said Bo Euler is going to be the most effective anti-Mormon of all of the ex-Mormon anti-Mormons, because he's so...
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
But he's so good.
President Oaks got him.
President Oaks got him.
Jacob.
Well, and also, by the way, Jacob, this is personal for me and you. We just went on a cruise with a wonderful atheist named who?
Jared.
Heliocentric.
Heliocentric is his name.
Heliocentric.
Yeah, I went to
Jared,
Heliocentric. And one of his few criticisms of the church was, he said Mormons are the best at taking it on the chin, and they never fight back. They allow you to say whatever you want about them. But I'm kind of concerned about how they go after ex-Mormons. And whose video did he pull up?
Which is a fair and valid concern sometimes, though, probably.
It is. I would say that it is a fair
Ex-Mormon,
valid concern
anti-Mormons.
sometimes, but this is a perfect example.
Agreed.
He talked about Bo Euler and he.
Oh, did
talked
he
about
really?
that- Yeah,
He
went- 'cause I
specifically
went
brought up
after-
Bo.
I went after Bo
Yeah.
because I've been a bishop. I know what the church's policy
Yep.
is. I know what he's talking about. I know what's going on here. And so I called him out, and he kind of felt like, hey, this is maybe a little bit kind of being a jerk to Bo or whatever. And it's like, no, you don't understand. These people will just lie in the most horrible ways. And then if you doubt anything they say, you're seen as the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, you're not allowed to just tell one-sided stories and then just expect everyone to just believe everything that you say.
Yeah, and here it is right here. I just found it. I'm just going to play it really fast.
Or earnest ex-believers who are trying to raise
Wait, here we go. Okay.
wonderful people. But the only time that I feel like I see their teeth are when ex-Mormons or anti-Mormons are brought up. Now, I get it. Like, a lot of the big anti-Mormon channels that are blowing up on YouTube right now, sometimes they are disclosing family secrets, and it feels very violating to, publicly display something that is holy. And I also understand the need to correct the record when genuine misinformation is put out there. But it often feels like earnest believers or earnest ex-believers who are trying.
So he's literally got a picture of earnest ex-believer, and Bo Euler is up as he's saying that. And he just showed three faces: Alyssa Grenfell, New Name Noah, and Bo Euler. And you know what? Here's
Okay, new name Noah can't be there.
This is like the worst. Those
no,
are
but
just
this. No, but this, before we say the worst, like audience that's watching, here's the reason why we fight back on people like Bo Euler so much, no matter how nice, how great his hair is and how good his mustache is. Alyssa Grenfell, that first person that he just showed, literally just barely went to a Mormon funeral of a 10-year-old who just passed from cancer and mocked the family doing that baby's favorite TikTok dance before it passed, saying that it's part of Mormon doctrine, you're not allowed to grieve at funerals, or it shows you don't believe in the afterlife, or whatever heinous, horrible. She's predating upon cancer babies' funerals. Bo Euler is literally talking about the worst thing besides murder that a person can do to a child, and lying about it and getting caught. And New Name Noah literally is on the record with John Dehlin saying he would punch out 85-year-old Dehlin H. Oaks in the middle of the streets in Salt Lake City if he saw them, literally physically threatening violence upon church leaders, and then buying temple recommends for porn stars so that they can go into the Salt Lake City temple and film pornographic scenes while Mitt Romney is there. Like, this is not earnest believers. These
Jesus
are
flipped
lying.
tables for less. He flipped tables for less. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like these are the most disgusting and foul people on the planet making fun of cancer babies.
And I think we are able to recognize that kind of thing because we've interacted with those things from them. I think there's a point that we should be more careful in how we interact with ex-Mormons and anti-Mormons. I appreciate what we've been doing on the show recently, where we are making an effort not to fall into the trap that I think anti-Mormons want us to, where we refer to all ex-Mormons as antis, right? And conflate those terms in a way that makes it seem once you've left the church, you're just this person who hates
because
it,
they
right?
co-opt other churches' scandals, and the Scientologist scandal of abusing past members blew up in 2015, and that's when they've been trying to do it. So yes, on this show, I don't allow anybody to say just ex-Mormon. I say ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon. So yes, you're right, Brad. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Good.
Oh, no, you're good. I just think this one is fascinating, hearing that critique coming from the heliocentric guy. It's a good critique, it's a valid critique, and a reasonable one. I just think we are now looking at a case where Bo Euler is being shown by records that the church has everything he said was totally a lie. And maybe if you want to be charitable, you could say that he drastically misremembered what was happening, right? There's a possibility.
And if he's a man of integrity, he'll release a video apologizing, say he misremembered, and he'll clarify the record so that we don't have to hold him accountable forever for standing on a dishonest lie and not admitting that he's wrong and correcting the record when he obviously is lying.
And here is the thing that I want to say. I think when it comes down to it, I hope that Bo has the same goal that we do in the end, that when it comes to child abuse survivors, that they get the help that they need and that they get taken care of, they get protected, right? And I really hope that that's what he is going for, right? But if he's going out there and giving out misinformation that the church is not going to help you, he is cutting people off from a resource that could be helpful to them. And I think that needs to stop. This is the kind of thing where, yeah, we get that you're angry and that you have all of this ire towards an institution, but please, for goodness sake, stop going out here and trying to take it out on the church in a way that is going to harm other people collaterally because you're giving them misinformation about what the church is like.
Bo was doing a lot more to help abuse when he was serving as a bishop in the church. He was doing a lot more than he is now. Like, if you want to help abuse, go to church. And keep your covenants and help other people keep their covenants and take the trainings and know how to spot this stuff and like help. The helpline is there to help. We know it's there to help. And it's just lying about the helpline doesn't help kids. It doesn't protect kids at all.
Also, can we just all laugh a little bit about, of all the groups to try and lie about, lawyers? Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know which it is more, a heinous lie that he's profiting in, because don't forget, they always shroud They always what's anti-Mormon rule number 3? It's like they always shroud evil in noble sound bites. You know, but like I don't know what's worse, shrouding evil in noble sound bites or just being so stupid you would do it against a room full of lawyers. Like it baffles me.
And that to me, Card, raises the question in my mind, dude. It wasn't until all of those guys who are having a complicated relationship with the church brought up to me, the church said it didn't have records like this, that I was like, is that what Bo thought?
Well, I think when it says records, they mean like they don't tape phone calls.
Yeah, they're not.
But they record everything.
Well, so Cardin, in the there's a case in Arizona that was going on that is relatively recent, where the lawyers for the church effectively said, AP News reporters reported that this was said. They said that representatives, exactly. They said two things, but one the people were familiar with, right? They said that the AP News reporters said, representatives of the church said that they destroyed all of the records from these conversations daily. When you looked a little more closely, you found that the AP News reporters also said that they kept record of the more serious ones, but every single person who was out of the church and questioning what's going on here seemed to be under the impression that all of the records were gone, right? That all of the records were deleted. And so the cynical part of me thinks, Bo, did you know that? Did you hear that and think that they didn't have record and that led to you talking about this the way that you did? Because you thought they didn't have records? Like, and I that's the way too cynical part of me. Like that's probably not the case. I think it's far more likely that he misremembered, right? That he has had a shift in his worldview and he has shifted how things went down in his head over time, because it does not match these records, right? But man, when I start seeing that the general assumption among some of these people is, oh, the church deleted these records, it makes me wonder.
Yeah, well, and also I just Googled this right now, and this is what bothers me, and this is why John Dehlin's doing arbitration today. When you look up Bo Euler, soft white underbelly, the very first thing that comes up is a Facebook post that says, fellow Mormon bridge builder Bo Euler is featured today on soft white underbelly. Oh yeah, featured. It's just happenstance. Or no, maybe we know that the best way to do damage to the church is to go on third-party podcasts with sensationalist cult porn and make up a bunch of garbage that's just recycled ex-Mormon subreddit tropes that are shocking and almost too sensational to believe, but the American pop culture just laps this up like I don't know, the best cat food and the best cat food commercial you ever saw. And then now they're shrouding that evil in noble sound bites. He's not a bridge builder. He's a very, very, very effective anti-Mormon. What, Jacob?
Could we do a clip? I really want to go into how dishonest he is. Not the abuse part, because I think we kind of covered that. We could watch it, but it's basically what we already read. There's something else he says in this that no one talks about. And I think it is absolutely, he kind of admits that he's a total dishonest liar and was for years. And nobody kind of like notices or calls it out. Well, if you go to 3319 on the video card, and we can start there. So just prior to this clip, he essentially talks about how he lost his faith, okay? That he lost his belief in the church, basically became a radical progmo, and he begins talking about the things that he's doing in the church now that he's essentially lost his faith. So, Cardin, if you want to play that clip, starting at about 3319.
Okay, I got 3314. Good enough. Here we go.
Compilation of all of the reality of the history of Mormonism from 1820 to today. And it rocked my world, but I wasn't ready to see it and like absorb it yet. And so I just kept serving. But I kept serving in like more and more progressive ways, where at the beginning, like if somebody came in for their temple recommend interview, which means it's like a worthiness interview to be able to go to the temple. At the beginning, I was like 15 questions. You have to exact answers. There's zero tolerance. by the end, I'm just like, oh, do you want to go to the temple? Is that part of your spiritual journey? Great. Here you go.
Okay, so first off, no bishop's interview has ever gone 15 for 15. You must have exact answers or we kick you out. You've been in a bishopric, bro. Have you? I think you are the most staunch Mormon on the internet, Jacob. I literally think you, if you aren't, you are perceived as literally the most sainted pitbull, far right. Like, I'm going to uphold the doctrine and values of the church. Have you ever done a bishop's interview saying 15 for 15 or you're toast?
No, obviously you're going to work with people with wherever they are to try and help them to be worthy. But I'm not just going to do what he says, where he's like, look, do you notice the pattern here? Okay. He begins to lose his faith. And then what does he do? He becomes very progressive and he begins to become more like an activist in the church. Continue the clip and watch what he does.
Okay.
You go. And even at one point, the bishops in our area were getting in trouble because they were giving temple recommends to gay couples. And the leaders had to come down and be like, guys, like, you can't do this. And we're like, but they're married. They're living the commandments.
Has the Mormon church bent the rules at all?
Oh, no.
Okay. Right about there. You can pause it.
Okay.
Okay. So he knows what the standards of the church are. And he's just like, okay, I'm just going to be dishonest about it. First of all, he doesn't believe in the church. How many interviews do you think he had during the time he was bishop with his stake president? How many times did he have to be interviewed for his temple recommend?
Once a month with the stake president. I don't know for the recommend, but he's meeting with him all the time.
Yeah. And do you think he's asking him if he believes in God and the restoration and all the key doctrines of the church? Is he asking him if he has any beliefs contrary to the teachings and doctrines of the church? And every time he looked his stake president right in the face and he said, no, I agree with everything the church teaches. I'm totally on board. It's obvious that he's being a dishonest liar. Why don't you just man up and just tell them, I don't believe in this anymore. I'm not worthy to be a bishop anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Now,
keep going. Let's watch.
Can I bring up something interesting that while talking about this with some people on X, there was a really fascinating interaction. A guy who was in his ward with him as his bishop actually piped in. And he mentioned that part of the reason he was still in the church was because of Bo Euler and because of the Christ-like love that he had for him, right? And then he went on to say, also, the things he is saying do not match up with the way I remember things, right? So he said, yeah, he doesn't seem to be telling the truth as I remember it.
It's the revisionist history.
And let me tell you something right now. It's totally dishonest. He never gave a temple recommend to a gay couple. That is an outright lie. You want to know why? Because if a stake president found out that a bishop had intentionally given a temple recommend to a gay couple, they would have released that bishop. They might have taken disciplinary action against him. And if a stake president didn't do that, that's an even more insane thing to think. That means in the church, we have stake presidents who are fine with their bishops giving out temple recommends to gay people, like to gay couples.
It
right?
takes a lot of faith to believe that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have that much faith. And number two, well, real quick, there's one other thing. I have one more clip that he goes into because it all goes into this worldview that he has. Remember, what happens with Bo is the typical story. You begin to become progressive, you lose your faith in the church, then you stay in the church as an activist, and then eventually you leave, and that's the story.
Well,
there's an old formula.
You stop seeing the highest good as becoming like God, and you start seeing the highest good as never doing harm, right? That's the shift.
Which ends up being a harm in and of itself.
Right. Moral truth becomes harm. It's the tolerance paradox. It's like anything that isn't inclusive becomes harm.
This is perfect timing for the clip. The clip hits this perfect. Go to 3340.
Okay, I'm going to 3340 right now. Go.
Be able to go to the temple. At the beginning, I was like, 15 questions. You have to exact answers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Zero tolerance.
I'm sorry, 3440. I'm sorry, 3440.
Okay, so here we go to 3440. Go.
In Mormonism, just last year, they had 2 pages of new guidelines, rules come out that were specifically transphobic. If you have trans people in your congregation, here's how to deal with them. They're not allowed in youth stuff. They are not allowed in certain bathrooms.
This is so
They're not-
toxic
They have to go to
garbage.
the classes of their birth. Basically, they can't be trans here.
Okay, so
Look at
think
him in
about
his
this.
eyes. He's just like, yeah, please take that hook, bait, and sinker. Please, yeah,
Yep.
dude, I'm scoring points.
So we're the bad guys. Remember, guys, we're the bad guys because we think that our daughters should not be in the same bathroom as a full-grown man who's confused about his gender. A dude in a dress. We tell dudes in dresses, you can't be in the bathroom with our daughters, and we're the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's transphobic, you guys. Get out of here. Like, why, like, in what, like, what world do we live in where guys like this are taken seriously?
Mhm.
Anyone who thinks it's transphobic and that you're the bad guy because you think that dudes in dresses who are confused about their gender shouldn't be in there with your daughters, if you are that confused about life, you shouldn't be taken seriously at all in anything.
And
Yeah.
one thing I want to point out is that the church, I think, has done a very good job of helping us understand the best way to approach this entire conversation about identity is that we need to be looking at ourselves and each other first and foremost as children of God and seeing each other as children of God. That's where the core of our identity needs to be. And so, I don't know, when I hear things like what he just said, it makes me think he is kind of pushing this narrative that everybody in the church hates people who are trans, just outright hate them. That we just are like, oh, yeah, when Jesus said, love God and love thy neighbor, he was leaving out trans people. That's not how we believe. That's not how we see people at all. We view people as children of God, no matter who they are, no matter where they're at, in whatever questions they're dealing with and how they're dealing with life. And so, I don't know, when I see stuff like this, I feel again like you're doing more harm than good, making people think. It's like you guys know the SCAR?
the
Do
SCAR
you know
study.
the SCAR experiment?
Yeah, the SCAR study on women.
Yeah, yeah. Where they put a scar on these women and then sent them out into the world to see how they were affected differently, right? And then they, right before sending them out, said, oh, we just want to do a quick little touch up, removed it completely. And then when they came back, they asked them about their experience, and every single one of them talked about how they were more damaged by the scar. Everyone judged them about the scar, and the scar like made things so much more difficult for them. I feel like this is the same sort of thing. This is setting people up with an expectation that they are going to be judged and they're going to be hated just for who they are and what they're thinking right now, rather than our church's actual teaching where we will look at you and treat you as a child of God first and foremost. And so, yeah, that's what I think when I see this kind of stuff.
And dude, you know what? Like, this is when the very liberal, like people don't realize I actually have a lot of very liberal views, especially maybe compared to others on, our show sometimes, I'm so angry because the liberal in me, I deeply believe in reasonable accommodation. And I think it's important to not be transphobic, to be very welcoming and inclusive. And I hate it when these words get abused. I was actually talking with Ben Shalati about this. Okay. I was literally talking about, it was a couple of years ago, I was talking with Ben Shalati about this, but I said, I don't think people understand how important it is going to be once the trans craze is over, that we figure out how to handle the trans situation so well. Because when there's thousands of people that have been bamboozled into this, that realize this was a raw deal, especially like you see what the detransitioners are going through. You see just the horrible pain that's happened with like families torn apart by this issue, people's lives mutilated, being sold this bill of goods by the internet that if you do this crazy heinous thing, that you're not just gay. No, you're a boy trapped in a woman's body, or you're a woman trapped in a man's body, and genital mutilation is the only way out. Oh, the grass is greener on that side. Then they do it and the grass isn't greener. I said, we will be one of the only balms of Gilead. The atonement of Jesus Christ will be tested so hard for its healing properties in these people's life, we need to figure out how to be so accommodating to trans people, because these are children of God, and they've been bamboozled by a pop culture that wants to traffic in their misery in order to virtue signal and pat itself on the back. But sooner or later, when they seek repair, when they seek healing, we're the healers, man. So we got to get this crap right, and we got to get it right now, so we're well versed and practiced at it when we come out. So when
By
people,
the way, real quick, as the local transphobe here
okay,
in the audience,
Yes.
I can tell you right now, I've had transgender people in my own church building, and I literally intentionally try and go out of my way to make sure that they recognize that, like, I love you and you're welcome here, and we're glad that you're here. Like, I'm glad that you're here. But see, this is the thing. People like Bo will weaponize your empathy. They
Yes.
take your good, the best part of you, and they say, oh, no, 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 no. It's not enough merely to tolerate and be kind to this person. You have to affirm who they claim to be.
or do
Otherwise,
my
you're
version, like
Here we go.
yeah, or do my version, my political prescriptions. That it's transphobic unless you're following my exact, ostensibly wildly progressive definition, or else I'm going to leverage the term transphobe against you. I'm so tired of them holding your humanity hostage, and that's exactly what Bo Euler did.
So and the church is really good at dealing with this, where okay, we do have to find a way to minister to all people, and people are we're in a pluralist society, not everyone agrees on everything, right? In 2015, when they did their fairness for all thing, right, where they're like, we're gonna religious freedom for everyone, or fairness for everybody is but we have limits to that. It doesn't mean we have to change our doctrine, doesn't mean but we're going to go out and make sure that things are okay. And Dehlin H. Oaks, he said, I got to share this quote because it reminded me of it. Was during this time. He says, the most serious threat to religious freedom today is not that it's being directly abolished, but that it's being marginalized and reframed as a form of bigotry or harm to others. When religious beliefs are equated with psychological or social harm, the legal protections for religious exercise are severely weakened. And the church is so good at this. Is recognizing we have to have we have to have rules in place so that we can all coexist a little bit better, and so that we can have trans people in our congregations feeling ministered to, but also they don't believe things we believe, so we're not going to let them teach our youth about identity. That's a great rule, because they don't believe what we believe about identity and about gender. And so we have to have things in place. This isn't about how to deal with the, I don't even know what he framed it as. It's not transphobic at all.
And they're the kind of things that when you have a reasonable conversation about this with a reasonable person, I think they understand where you're coming from. So to just blanketly label it as transphobia and throw it at you in that way, I think is very irresponsible, because then it just amps up everything, makes it about everyone being in an us versus them situation, when it would be so much better if we just interacted with people as individuals, right?
I would argue that ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon social media presences and activism and antagonism towards sexual minorities in our church has driven more naturally born members of the church out of it, where they are statistically more protected, than has actually stopped harm from happening. Like, all the stats show, people that are isolated are more vulnerable. And whether it's transgender youth, whether it's gay youth, they are all better off as members of the church by almost every single measurable quantifier, okay, inside the church, active, than they are compared to their secular counterparts outside of the church. This is just basic sociological fact that's been repeated ad nauseum in the literature, okay? So to try and separate somebody from that community that actually would protect them, again, there's not people, like in any good system, there's bad apples. But compared to what? The school district? The state? Right. Like, what are we,
one of the most,
Boy Scouts of America? Girl Scouts of
most,
America? What are we comparing this to?
Yeah.
One of the most fascinating things I ever learned as I studied this, I actually did a debate on abuse in the church.
Really?
Yeah, it's on my channel. You guys can look at it. A guy had a debate with me on the subject. And as I researched for it, I went through the research on fair. There's, who is the sister recently? She was
Roach,
baptized in the
Jennifer Roach.
church. What was it?
Jennifer Roach?
Jennifer Roach. Yes, Jennifer Roach.
Mhm.
Her research on this is gold. Everyone should look it up.
Insane.
Okay.
So good.
And-
So good.
Here's the too long didn't read. So basically what happens is that with the Boy Scout scandal, you got this really weird situation where you actually got to compare, because they had all of the like abuse cases, right? And they have all the different scout troops, and they have scout
Right.
troops that are associated with different churches. So you could compare to see if our church, which was involved in scouting, compared to other churches that were involved in scouting, had higher levels of abuse. So we can do a comparison amongst religions. And guess who was the lowest amongst the religious group? Us. We actually, when you do a cross-religious comparison,
Yeah.
the safest place your kid can be, in fact, schools are one of the worst places
Yeah.
for when you look at the statistics. So you're literally this is the weird, like, backwards world that we live in. The institution that is actually doing the best job at this, demonstrably from the data, is the one being attacked by people like Bo
They're
Euler.
harmful.
Yeah, it's insane. It's literally evil being called good and good being called evil.
Yep.
Oh, dude, they never. Hey, what's anti-Mormon rule number 1? They never refute scripture.
Scripture.
They only fulfill it. Oh, dude, you're right.
I-
Hey, who can read super chats after
I got
Austin?
you.
After
we got
Austin.
super chats. We got
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
chats.
Here, I got them all pulled up and ready.
Go for it.
So, Fight Sword Radio, unless it's Fight's Word Radio, 3735 says, I was honestly annoyed by how unsurprised I was to learn he was telling a bald-faced lie. At this point, it's just exhausting.
Okay.
Again, not every ex-Mormon, but this is why we're scarred a little bit. This is why we're scarred, is because we know the ones that are the most active online are generally very toxic. They lie about everything and can conflate it all. If you disagree on their new belief system, you're now transphobic and bigoted, and you lie and you cover up abuse, and it's just everything, and it's so silly.
Yeah. Also, I just take one issue with this super chat. It says, I was honestly annoyed at how unsurprised I was to learn that he was telling a bald-faced lie. I believe it's a bold-faced lie, unless he's trying to set a new trend of saying a bald-faced lie, at which point we would have to ask ourselves, are we talking David Boyce bald here, Colton Miller bald, or just Jacob Hansen kind of starting? You know what I'm saying? Kind of starting. Like
Bo's
what?
definitely not bald.
Yeah, because that's just Bo, just now he's just flexing with those lovely locks, So, okay, next super chat, my man. Thank you very much, Fight Sword Radio.
Dude, I love this one. Jordan Brimley says, shows boldness is needed. Love it. Want to see the church stand up more. How do we balance this boldness with kindness to achieve real peacemaking?
That's fair.
Oh.
Such a good question. What do you guys think? How do you balance that boldness
I think
with
Jesus
kindness?
Christ. I think Jesus Christ. He women caught in adultery. That was something the society was very intolerant.
Get closer to
of.
the mic, Austin. You're a little bit lower than everybody else.
Society's super intolerant of adultery, right? They're gonna stone her. And he, what does he say to her? I don't condemn you, right? Very tolerant of the person, love the sinner, all of that, but totally intolerant of sin. And then he says, go your way and sin no more. We don't let go of our standards or our morals or our beliefs. Just like the church, when they do fairness for all, we don't have to. That's not tolerance is the greatest good. That's principled tolerance. It's saying, hey, we all need to protect our beliefs here.
And
we go ahead.
I just want to piggyback on what you're saying here, Austin, because this is one of my favorite instances in Scripture. I think it just totally helps us see a real life moment of living the law to love God and love your neighbor, and have the tension between those balanced. Because I think what ends up happening is you have the side that we all tend more towards justice or towards mercy, right? And we end up getting dragged into those a little bit further than we might like to. We all err on one side.
I'm
or
a
the other.
mercy softy. I admit it.
Yeah, totally, Carter. Definitely.
I have to stretch the justice side of me sometimes, and I have to stretch the mercy. I fall
Yeah,
on both sides. I get it.
And what happens is you have this Jesus sees her and says, neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more, right? That's the balance. And what I see happening is a lot of the time there are people who just stop. The people who like overbalance on mercy, they say, neither do I condemn thee, it's over.
Yeah, I don't condemn
Right?
you.
They don't finish the rest. They just, neither do I condemn you. But is that really loving your neighbor if you're not helping them recognize if that woman continued living the way that she was, it would have been horrible for her. But Jesus says, go and sin no more, inviting her to live in a higher and holier way that is going to make her life better.
Also,
right?
have we ever considered the fact that maybe the woman caught in adultery just had a really ugly ex-boyfriend and Jesus knew it? And he was
Garden,
like, you
no,
know what?
Garden.
You know what?
I want the Cardin Ellis translation of the Bible.
You know,
Can get
like,
that?
I feel for you. You went through that. Like, you almost did humanity a favor on that one. Just go cinema. That's a mulligan. That's a mulligan. You know?
No. But here, on the other side of things here, you have people who, like, forget the neither do I condemn thee part.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm
Sure.
going to condemn like crazy. I mean, go and sin no more. Sure, you can repent, but I'm going to condemn you every second I get, right? And we need to not fall into either of those camps. So that's what I think of when I look at, like, to answer Jordan's comment more specifically, how do we balance boldness with kindness? We do so in a way that we don't condemn others, but invite them to go and sin no more in that way.
We got about 500 new people that have joined the live stream. If you're just joining us right now, we were talking about the biggest FAFO in, I don't know, a really, really long time. Anti-Mormon Bo Euler has basically been caught by a whole bunch of lawyers in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as having fibbed a little, but about something very profoundly important, actually the safety of our children and abuse in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to which a statement was released on the official church website going over what the records actually showed, to a point where they literally say, because those allegations, meaning those by Bo Euler, are not supported by the facts, additional context from contemporaneous records is necessary to correct the record. So the church did indeed correct the record. And before we go any further into Super Chats, did we finish reading the rest of their statement, Brad?
No. We just read the bullet points.
Okay, so we read the bullet points, though, of what the records show, right?
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so...
And it may be useful to catch people up because we've had more people get on the stream.
Yeah, so basically, I'm just going to catch people up super quickly, and then we'll go back into Super Chats. But in the video, Mr. Euler asserted that he contacted the church abuse helpline and spoke with attorneys. He was told he had no responsibility to take action and was not a, quote, mandatory reporter. Then he claims no one asked about the safety of the child or the family circumstances, and that the helpline exists to protect the church rather than the victims of abuse. If you're unfamiliar with this claim, it was actually made on Soft White Underbelly. This is the backdrop. It's a very famous YouTube channel. I think it's got 6-7 million subscribers. And at this point, fortunately, anti-Mormonism isn't as sensational as other topics, though cult porn is growing in its sensationalism. It's got hundreds of thousands of views, came out 2 months ago, and enough that the church actually by name named Bo Euler, which I've never seen. And the reason why this live stream is actually titled "The Church Finally Fights Back ... again is because only once before have I ever seen the church like directly address, like, not even naming names, but like directly assert that, okay, somebody's lying, was when the Floodlit article came out. Remember we said we do
AP.
not... Yeah, we don't know.
It's the same thing. It was the same thing. They're lying about the abuse hotline, and they're like, was it Elder Kieran? He says, "Shut up, stop it, be good journalists." And that's an exact quote, actually, too.
Yeah,
and he
Really?
just called it out. Like, be
That's
responsible
awesome.
here. It's great.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the claims that Bo Euler made. However, what the records show from basically inherently the law offices of the church are that helpline records from August 2013 directly contradict this narrative. Mr. Euler contacted the helpline 3 times over a 3-day period and spoke with both an attorney and a licensed social worker. That's very important. Not an ecclesiastical leader of the church, not a member of the priesthood, with a licensed social worker to make sure that this is going down properly. Let's get multiple eyes on this problem. Okay, the church goes out of its way to hire licensed therapists and social workers licensed by the state in order to help these families. Yes, they do give spiritual advice as well, but it's a team effort. The church does not reject science. The church does not reject good therapy. It rejects dogma and bad therapy, which is unfortunately what a lot of the ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon community is engaged in right now. But good therapists has no problem hiring. No problem hiring. And in this case, looks like they did. At the time of the initial call, helpline personnel understood that a therapist had already reported the abuse to civil authorities. Okay, yes, in the state of California, I do not believe, at least as of late since I checked, that clergy are mandatory reporters, but licensed therapists and teachers are. And I know this because my mother was a public educator, and I'd been a volunteer in rooms when children had not confessed, but alluded to abuse at home, and the teachers had to confer. I had to get dismissed as a volunteer. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to call in the principal. Now it's time to call in the social workers, and we're going to discuss this and figure out how to ethically approach this. So I know exactly what mandatory reporting looks like. Okay. And anyway, the social worker discussed steps to support the victim and family. In a final call that week, Mr. Euler confirmed that the therapist had reported the abuse and the offender had subsequently self-reported. The helpline personnel also communicated with the stake president to ensure appropriate follow-up, and no concerns about how the matter was handled were raised with the church at the time. The first indication of dissatisfaction came more than 13 years later through the recent social media video. So not only was the church there for Bo when he called, there for the family, there with the therapist, but they followed up. The church went out of its way to follow up. But so potent is the requirement of the revisionist history of ex-Mormon anti-Mormonism that once you get bathed in the waters of ex-Mormon subreddit, baby, you got to remember a whole new version of what happened. And lying about the church, totally fine. Totally fine.
And Cardin, I gotta say, I think there is an incentive for it. I think there's an incentive to rewrite your memories, to catastrophize your story of how you left the church, because you get rewarded for it.
You can go on Soft White Underbelly. Like, no, Soft White Underbelly's not calling you saying, can you tell us about how your dutiful dedication to reading 30 minutes of scripture every day has led you to have a more well-balanced life, Brad Whitbeck? No, that's a snooze fest.
Yeah, but if you can recast yourself as a victim or as someone who is there to, like, crusade for the victim, hey, you've got yourself an audience, right? And so I think that we really need to be careful and examine, hey, how are some of these things influencing how we tell our own stories?
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead,
he's
Austin.
not going around maliciously like, how can I destroy the church? He doesn't believe in Christ anymore. He has a new worldview.
No, I would argue he is. Like, there is a status and a clout that is gained as an ex-Mormon that these people have never experienced in their entire life. I saw John Dehlin go through it. We've seen all these people go through. All of a sudden, you're the cool guy. All of a sudden, you're recognized in airports. All of a sudden, oh, you're the one fighting the good fight. Yeah, baby. You cannot disagree that the celebrity attached, the temporary celebrity, it never lasts. It always peters out and goes away. But the temporary celebrity of being an ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon is a drug.
I think there's plenty that are sincere, that are more sincere. And sure, like, everyone can have that. I think there's plenty that are
sincere about what? The helpline? That's
no. What I'm saying is, like, he just believes something that's so different that says the church is harmful. He believes that. He believes the church is harmful. And so it's like now all of a sudden his worldview has changed so much.
But are we so Mormon that we can't call a liar a liar?
Well, here's the thing.
That's not what I'm saying.
I think in his new worldview, repentance is harm, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's something that we need to recognize. And
that you're willing to lie about your own history? Or like, at what point are we willing to just say somebody is lying. You can't get to this version of history where the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doesn't name anybody by name.
Yeah.
It names
If people go watch my video, I called him a liar as soon as it came
Yeah.
out.
See, I'm with
Jacob's like,
don't
"I have no
force me into MAGA Mormonism. Don't force me into being
I'm not even like a MAGA hardcore.
know, I'm just
I
kidding.
literally have gone and like debated with far right people because I think they're off the
No, but it's a
rock.
fun trope.
Right.
It's a
I
fun
know,
trope.
It's a trope. All right, it's a trope, everybody.
Yeah,
Trope.
yeah.
Here's the thing I will say. I think for me, because I'm like, dude, this feels like lying, right? Like, this doesn't feel like he just went out and he just like accidentally misremembered a couple of things. He's telling a completely different story than what
Right.
happened, right? And so like, I can commiserate with you, Cardin, when it's like, dude, okay, is he just straight up lying about this? But at the same time, memory is slippy. This was 13 years ago, right?
He's been lying to himself for 13 years. So
Exactly,
his
like,
story's different now. I just don't think he's going out. How can I take down the church?
You guys. Ex-Mormons, they understand that
Ex-Mormon,
memories change over
anti-Mormon.
time. They're
Ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon.
All right, ex-Mormon, anti-Mormons. Ex-Mormon, anti-Mormons
Yeah.
know that stories change. That's why they're very understanding about the first vision and the different accounts. They know that memory.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good
oh,
point, Jacob. Good
Oh, that
point.
hurts. All right.
Okay,
Okay,
more
should I-
more
yeah,
super
throw
chats.
down a
Catch
super
us up on
chat?
super
Yeah.
chats. Oh, and then also Hayden Holm from Salty Saints will be able to join us. We will welcome him shortly. So let's burn through these super chats really fast.
And I gotta roll.
I gotta
in just
run.
a
I gotta run.
little bit.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow, I didn't know
so-
he was that unpopular. I got
Yeah, I don't, we
Oh no. So Jonah Barnes, he says, dad joke in parentheses, shameless book plug in parentheses, subtle jab at Jacob's baldness. All of those directly from Jonah Barnes. He says, whatever, here's a tip for your excellent content. Love you guys. Then LDS Response says, hello, fellow Latter-day Saints. Hello to you, Jonah. We love you too. It's good to have you here. Everybody, please like the stream.
yes.
It's so good to hear from everybody and show people, I think, that the community of Latter-day Saints is not the cult that sometimes people portray it to be. You know, like, well,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, that people portray it to be. Sure, yeah, let's say it's a cult. But
Well,
if
you
this
know.
is a cult, I think the world would be a better place if everyone was part of it, right? Where we all actually strive to love God and love our neighbor. But,
the
hey,
cult that has more
I kinda
child
wanna
protections
just
in
embrace
it.
Like, yeah, we're in a cult. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're in a cult that makes babies. That's for sure.
Dude, I am torn on it. Like at this point, I'm just like, sure, yeah. When people are like, "You guys are in a cult," I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
yeah.
the best one. It's freaking great."
It is the best one.
How am I supposed to respond to this after this
Objectively.
long, right?
So, okay, burn through these super chats, Brad.
Okay,
Let's
Jonah
finish them
again. There's zero reason to believe anything Gallagher says. Is he saying Euler? Maybe. All he is doing is reciting a catechism, nodding to Pravda. Sincerity has nothing to do with it. Don't project integrity onto liars, and like the stream. That's interesting.
Mm.
That's an interesting point of view.
Oh, so Gallagher, I just looked up Gallagher on IMDb, and apparently it was a watermelon smashing comedian with a very thick mustache was Gallagher. I'm going to put the picture up here, open image in new tab. This is Gallagher. I don't know. It might look a little bit less like Bo Euler and a little bit more like Austin Falter. I'm getting some,
Although
let's...
someone, a producer called me today, and I have to shave my mustache for a project, and I'm so sad.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be mustacheless in a minute here.
Oh, you poor guy. Okay, Brad, keep going.
Yeah. So let me see.
Super
got
chats.
Jonah Barnes again says, Dehlin's channel under fire next? Finally? Dude, okay. I've got to say something about this. I am so happy for this because somehow I was having conversation with some people on X again who are saying, oh, come on. Like, John Dehlin, like, you're biased if you think he's an anti-Mormon. And I'm like, bro, this dude is the definition of anti-Mormon and has been for over a decade. Like, what world are you, what planet are you on if you're thinking that he's not? It was just really fascinating to me. This feels like the church ultimately using the law to say, "Dear wolf, please stop wearing sheep's
Ooh.
clothing." That's how it feels to me.
I like it. I like.
So
that
here's the
way.
post so everybody can see it.
Wow.
But it says, going into mediation with the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints this morning. Their main goal, as I understand it, is to force us to take the word Mormon out of our podcast name, URLs, and social media handles. We will let you all know how it goes. And here's the post of them doing it. And I got to tell you, this is actually not anything new. This has been a question on the table for over a decade since he went super toxic anti-Mormon. And I got to tell you, it's been something we've been complaining about on this show for a long time. And I think the church is actually late to that party. Just like they were late to the social media party, and it wasn't until February 2024 that there was Facebook and there was Instagram for young men, the future of the priesthood in our church. They were, I got my Instagram account, I think, in 2009. They were 15 years late. 15 years late to the Instagram and the Facebook party for young men. I think they were 15 years late to this party, you know, when they've got a trademark on Mormon Stories podcast, and it's obviously not the Mormon Stories podcast.
Can we just make a quick observation?
Yeah.
As well. We probably have more views on this stream already than John's last video that he released. The reality is if you look at the view counts to his the number of subscribers he has, this is crazy. Like, he is not where he once was.
And Jacob, the cynical part of me thinks that is the core motivator in why he's trying to play more nice with members of the church in only very, very recent, like the past couple months.
There's no doubt. In fact, I have a video should be coming out on my channel in the next like week or two that's going to talk about the story of what's happened to sort of ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon content. And it's sort of dying because, and frankly, it's because of all of us. We are like, there used to be a day where they were kind of the only ones talking about all these sort of controversial issues. And now we all kind of showed up on the scene, and there's a ton of really good content. And so they can't reach sort of like Latter-day Saints anymore because we're already out here talking about it. So it's like, hey, have you ever heard about like Joseph Smith's polygamy? It's like, yeah, I watched Word Radio talk about it like 6 times.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I think for anybody who has any questions about this, I have seen John Dehlin intentionally make the Mormon Stories logo look like the church's logos.
Oh, yeah.
He has 100% done everything in his power to make it look church affiliated. He is absolutely putting this out there in a way to make himself look like a church affiliated source so that people don't know what they're getting into. They don't recognize what's happening.
I'm looking at his channel right now. Okay. On his banner, you have on it someone in a BYU outfit. You have Patrick Mason on it. Again, it's like he's trying to position, and it's featured on HBO, New York Times, TEDx, NPR. What he's trying to produce himself as is, listen, guys, I, John Dehlin, am the serious ex-Mormon who's friends with everyone. I'm not like a raging anti-Mormon lunatic. Come and talk to me, NPR, New York Times, and other secular liberals. What you're going to hear is a very measured take from a professional man who has been in this religion and can speak to it and is on good terms with all sorts of different people. That's who I am. And it's like, no. You run a show that has one-sided stories from disgruntled members of the church telling one-sided stories for clicks.
And that is 90% of the content you produce.
No, not 90. Like 90.
99?
Oh, yeah.
And
okay,
like,
let's just, we could go, I mean, here we go. We got secret polygamy, Freemasonry, pioneers who leave the church.
Did Joseph Smith use golden plates to
child brides? I mean,
he's had like
Mormon
3
bishops,
or
sexual
4
abuse.
faithful people on, I think, in an effort to help aid in this rebrand, right? Which, look,
but his audience won't let him. His audience won't let him.
They do keep getting mad at him for it when he tries, which is really fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
But dude, I think it's really fascinating. We should have a deeper discussion on what it means to be an anti-Mormon, because I've seen people lobby the accusation at us that like we think anybody who has anything critical to say about the church is automatically an anti-Mormon.
We did this on the Wave Makers cruise. What is it,
Carden's
Jacob?
got it. Hit it, Carden. You got it. The 3 Ps. Hit it.
Persistent, purposeful, and I gotta look up my PowerPoint presentation. What did I say? There's the 3
Purposeful, persistent.
a prick.
Oh, no, sorry, no. My bad.
Austin.
What is,
Purposeful.
Persistent. Sorry, it's
persistent, purposeful, and public.
public. That was it. Yes.
They have to be public, persistent,
Cute.
and purposeful in degrading people's belief in the fundamental claims of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If you look at the John Dehlin Mormon Stories site, just go through the videos, and what you will observe is a persistent, public, purposeful degradation of people's beliefs in the fundamental claims of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's literally what the channel does.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if John Dehlin wants to not be an anti-Mormon anymore, he can stop doing all of that. He can
Yeah,
take
right.
down all of the content that has been doing that for years, right? If he wants to rebrand, if he wants to build bridges, let's build bridges in a way that's going to be not just set up to build to get Vikings to come over to ransack our villages, right? Like he is so much in this position of just an antagonist to the church. He's literally fundraised off of that. He has been the guy saying, I'm the only one standing up to them, right? Like,
But
he's in no way not an anti-Mormon.
He's going to say that what he's doing is he's telling the truth and that the things that he's saying are true. Here's my whole thing. It's fine, John. Here's what we're going to do. I want you to just take down every episode that only gives one side of the story and doesn't have someone from the other side speaking. Go ahead. Just do that. That way, let's at least be fair. All of these issues, there are 2 sides of the story. On your channel, you're only giving one side of the story. You're having one person just tell their side of the story. Just take all of those down. And then you'll be left with 3 or 4 videos.
It's like when you censor an Eminem music video in the early 2000s and there's no music left.
we gotta add a couple P's. I saw some good chats. Puny and perjury are our other 2.
Performative. Performative. If you
Performative
gotta go,
is probably part of it, yeah.
I got a jam, but just on this abuse thing, guys, I right now I'm serving in a bishopric, okay? And anytime we call someone to a primary or a youth calling, anything like that,
Austin's
right?
bishopric. Austin's bishopric. No,
Anytime we have a calling, it's like we are bugging people and pestering them until they take the training, and we're looking out for abuse. The church is so good at this. We care about the youth and the kids, and we're seeking to outroot this because it's going to happen in any organization of people on the planet. And so the church is so good. Like Jacob said, we've done the studies, we've cross-compared in the Boy Scouts, and I feel so confident in sending my kids to church.
And sometimes it's nobody's fault. Like the case I'm talking about, when they finally got the person, when the bishop called and said, "Do not go home, I'll pay for your hotel," they actually got the person who was confessing like sexual perversions. All right. They got him professional help, and they found out. I can't remember what it was because it was like a HIPAA violation, and they couldn't intimate. I don't remember too much, but I don't know if he had a brain tumor or had some kind of profound mental illness based off of trauma. I don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking oh my gosh, poor guy. Poor guy. I'm so glad the church was there to catch him. And the signaling function was the confession, and the church was called. And the help was offered. The system worked. Nobody talks about that when the system
and
works.
that is at the core of the question whether clergy penitent privilege is something that should be protected, right?
Yes.
It's a very complex topic, but there are conflicting ideas around this where they think, hey, if we allow clergy penitent privilege, it gives us more confessions, right?
Yep.
It gets people, it ends abuse way sooner. It makes it possible. That's the argument that's being set up there for that side. So it's a complicated thing. And right now, it isn't uniform in the U.S. No. This is something where if you got a problem with this, it's not a problem with just the church. You've got a problem with the way that the law of the land is. And that is where people should focus their energy if they think it's going to be better for abuse victims, right?
Yeah. Now we're gonna do a hockey.
Oh, Hayden's
change.
here. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna do a hockey
Hayden?
change here in a second. We're gonna do a hockey change.
Oh, he dipped out immediately. I did not
I
think.
got.
I don't hate you, Hayden.
I love you, Hayden.
That's funny. If you do you got a jam, Jacob, or can you hang out with us for a little bit longer?
I can hang out for about 5 or 10 more minutes. Then I got to roll. I just want to show Hayden that I'm not leaving because of him. That
Yeah,
Oh, look at
fan
that!
of
I
him.
have that effect on most people, actually.
that's funny. I didn't know that Austin
look at
hated you. Like, do you have beef,
He
bro?
bounced.
Like, what
Scared
happened,
him.
dog?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or, hey, at least I got one guy out there. Yeah.
yeah. What did you do? No, I'm just kidding. So, okay, finish the super chats, Brad, and then
Yeah.
we'll read the last half of the church's statement.
Hey, look at that! Hey, right in the feels.
Hey. So the Chris
That's
Breezy says,
great.
as a wise man recently said, Christ loved everyone, but he had a high personal standard for their conduct. That
Oh, hold
statement
on.
is going to be a rent-free
My
property holder in my
headphones
mind.
just went off the rails, so
Oh,
I can't
no.
hear anything right now.
Well, figure it out silently because we're live streaming. No, just kidding.
Dude, I love this. I love this quote. Christ loved everyone, but he had a high personal standard for their conduct. That is good. I think we have a lot of people say things like, "Oh, hey, Jesus ate with sinners," and it's like, yeah. And what was he inviting them to do when he did? Right? Like,
Yeah.
he was inviting them to repent. He wasn't joining in their sin. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
part
I
of the
mean,
thing
if
we
you
need
look
to
at the
remember.
people that Jesus Christ got most upset with, it wasn't sinners. It was people that were teaching other people to sin. Like, he was so upset with Pharisees. He was so upset with people that were imposing cultural traditions and imposing cultural commandments, and having those take priority over actual commandments and the higher law. That's who he was most upset about. And so you look at people like this that are taking over, they're getting into the therapy space, and they can't even do that right. So they're like trying to copy the church's branding. They're trying to come out there and appear with all the credentials of therapy, but they actually are licensed as like a life coach or something like that, so that they don't have any of the liability of it, and it is so frustrating to me, and it is straight out of a Pharisee's handbook. Like,
And-
the way that they're operating would make a Pharisee blush, is what I would say.
Yeah, and the thing that stands out to me about what you're saying, Hayden, is they are setting themselves up as these heroes to help you, and so they're giving you this problem. They're saying, "Hey, the church
Right.
is horrible. Let me help you." Like, it kills me when I see stuff like this, with John Dehlin's stuff, where he is like, "Yeah, the evil church hurt you, and I can help heal you at this conference, right? Like, I will now
Right.
sell you the thing."
For a small prize, I
Exactly.
will help you.
It's the worst. Next up, we got LDS Response says, coincidence, lawyer profit equals response from lawyers.
That's
not
funny.
coincidence.
Okay, keep
So,
going.
so my question for you is, why do you think it took this long for the church to come out and start pushing back against this stuff? Because I
Meaning
mean,
2
these guys
months?
have been. No. I'm saying it feels like one of the reasons why Big Boy Bo felt that he was able to come out there and spew kind of bold-faced or bald-faced lies is because I think in part he did not think that the church would actually clap back. I think he had seen people for years just kind of go online and kind of spout whatever they wanted to spout about the church with zero consequence, legal consequence from the church. And so I just wonder what you guys think is behind the church beginning to push back now.
I think the church in general, I don't think this is some new pattern that the church is going to do all this kind of stuff. I do think maybe they'll take some more of the legal angles, and I think that's good. And I think that may have to do with leadership that just is more familiar with the law and more familiar with what they can do. That may be part of it. But also, I wouldn't expect the church to like go and like start fighting back really hard, because the problem is that in so many of these cases, the church can't say anything. Like, these things are
Right.
being done in confidence. Whether if someone gets excommunicated, like, it's not like the stake president's going to go, well, here to the public, let me give my press release as to why I excommunicated this person. Like,
Yeah.
that isn't the way
Right,
these things
right.
work. But the thing is that our critics know that. So what they do is they take advantage of that. So when they get excommunicated, they go on Mormon stories and they tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
Call it ex-Mormon one-sided stories is what the podcast should be called.
Right.
So that they can give their side against an opponent who will never speak back, because we literally have like a policy that says, look, in these sort of private meetings, we don't discuss things. Like,
we still don't know what
Right,
happened,
right.
what actually happened in John Dehlin's excommunication, because the church sticks to its moral guns and says we're not going to talk about something that is both sacred and private because we are, we have integrity. Meanwhile, he can say whatever he wants, and whether it's true or not true doesn't matter because he's financially motivated to just say whatever brings clout, money, whatever. I'm not saying that means he has to lie just because there's a cash incentive to do it, but I'm saying the widespread cash incentive to sensationalize your membership in the church makes me think that I actually don't believe the majority of these crazy sensational stories that I hear, because also I grew up in the exact same church. And I know that there's a difference between like a socially awkward person and an abusive one, right? So I'm going to burn through the next 5 super chats super fast.
I gotta roll though, gentlemen. Great to see you guys.
See you, Jacob.
Good job.
See y'all
See you,
later.
Seeing you,
Jacob.
man.
So the Chris Breezy says wait a second. No, sorry. LDS response already.
We're
did
on
that one.
Alicia Brown.
We're on Alicia Brown. Anyone else notice we have a lawyer/judge leading the church now, and the church is being extra legal feisty? I don't think it's necessarily feisty. I actually think they're late to the party. It seems feisty because we're just so used to non-action.
Yeah.
That-
But this is 2 months after the episode in question, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like feisty would be the day of. But I understand what you're saying. Like, just like Thomas Sowell said that there's people that are so used to preferential treatment that when they get equal treatment, they call it persecution. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we're so used to inaction on behalf of the church office building that when we get 2-month late action, we think, dang, they being feisty,
Right. Like, man, these guys are really kicking it in gear. Like 2 months. That is the fastest turnaround time we've ever seen. Because I don't know, at least in recent history, that we've ever seen something like this.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that? I actually don't pay attention to a whole lot of church news.
The closest thing that we have actually deals with very similar subject matter. The church actually corrected the record on the AP News piece that they sent out around abuse, right? It was around the same sort of subject.
Yeah.
And the church is so careful when it comes to child protective training. Like, I tell you what, in our ward, the child protective training is pushed harder than ministering. Like, if there is a leader that does not have it, they will get an email, they will get a text message, they will get reminders in ward council from their leaders saying like, hey, you need to fill out your training. And if anything, I almost wonder if we've gone too far into the training mode, because there are a lot of leaders that are like, I don't know what to do with these youth. Are we allowed to be here? I don't know. Can he, and so it almost makes them a little gun shy around the youth. It makes them a little like, I'm not going to engage with you that much because I'm worried about potentially breaking one of the child protection things, so I might not like teach a lesson if there's only one youth and there are 2 teachers. It's like, let's get you into another classroom.
I think that's just being a man, though. Like, I went to pick up my daughter from dance the other day because Brittany couldn't do it. I went to go pick up my daughter from dance, and I met another family friend there, and we were in the lobby, and I was like, okay, let's get out of here. And I said, I hate picking up my daughter from dance. And she said, what? Why? And I said, because I'm a man, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of women in a predominantly female area. And like, I feel like I need to just record myself all the time, because that's just like, you're on enemy territory.
I see what you're
you know
saying.
what I'm saying? Like, you've seen all the lawsuits, you've seen all the false allegations, you've seen all of the false everything. Like, nope, not going to be me, not going to do it. You can walk home, girlfriend. I'll pick you up on the street corner. You know what I'm saying? I do not want to be falsely accused of something I did not do. You look at somebody wrong. And you're a bigot nowadays. So I can see why a lot of men are just like, nope. Just like I can't open up doors for women anymore because I got tired of getting yelled at by feminists. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of guys who are like, nope, not me. I'm out of here. Find somebody else. I know a lot of people that are like that, and it's an unfortunate blowback of where we're at. Let's finish the next 3 super chats, Brad. Burn through them.
Yeah. Crandall Logan 584 says, too long has the church sent in mom to say, well, that isn't really the truth, being vague. Hopefully they're finally sending in dad to say, that is crap and you know it, calling people out by name.
Oh, that's funny. Crandall Logan.
Yeah,
That was funny.
Yeah, that's right. Bringing in the dad energy.
Yeah, dude.
Dragon's Layer X says, I missed the live stream where you opened the package, but got the letter today. You might be getting more snacks for Easter.
Temple
Still need to
Rocks.
come to PA.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. If you're
You got 'em?
friends of the show,
Wow, look
those
at
are the
that.
Temple Rocks, baby. They're here, and they're always right here. So you can just watch them. That's for you, Dragon Slayer. 2 years it took us, but we did it. We made the connection. All right, keep going.
Okay. Luke Hansen says, Cardin, I put the clip you mentioned in the Discord.
Okay.
And Luke actually said another clip of Bo changing the story in the chat.
Oh, interesting.
So two from Luke.
I've
adding
got it.
More clips. Yeah.
I've got it. Thank you very much, Luke. By the way, for anybody that's jumping in, I see we got another 100 viewers here. What we're talking about is one of the biggest FAFOs in modern Mormon history, anti-Mormon Bo Euler, was caught a little bit with his, I was going to say with his rhetorical pants down, shall we say, saying a lot of stuff that's not true about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and not just banal white lies. We're talking
Banal works too.
yeah,
I've heard it both ways, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry
one's
about
more
that
fun to pronounce, right? You know. Anyway, I'd say that's gonna get clipped. There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So Boyle Euler was caught lying about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, principally saying that it causes harm by basically protecting itself instead of children and vulnerable adults. And that it basically aids and abets pedophiles and child abusers through the helpline, which is just a recycled anti-Mormon, ex-Mormon subreddit trope. But he went out on a very popular podcast called Soft White Underbelly, where he basically repeated this trope and all of the others ad nauseum. And this actually rose to the attention. The church refuted it in a statement that we actually just went over earlier, but we'll go over the last part again. And it's the first time since the Floodlit scandal, like 3 years ago, that the church has actually named an organization or a person by name in a press release. They do not do this. You do not understand how badly you have to lie about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in order to get an actual press release with your name on it. Like it's pretty unprecedented.
I mean, yeah, there's I can't think of another. So one thing I do want to say is I want to reiterate something we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The church has a goal
Specifically
of protecting these people. Like we've had talks about this in conference about how abuse is not tolerated. The Lord hates abuse. I saw a pretty funny TikTok the other day my brother sent me. The gist of it was Jesus just being like really chill about most things. It's like, what if my neighbor robs me? And it's like, well, you got to forgive him 70 times 7. What if he wants me to go a mile with him? Go with him twain. What if he hurt a child? Grab a millstone, wrap it around his neck, and yeet that boy into the sea. Right? Like it's like, dude.
Right. No uncertain terms.
Yeah,
right. Very
Jesus
black
does
and
not
white
play
on that
around
one.
with this.
Yeah.
And neither does the church. And so I think this is part of why they're
Rightly
responding to
so.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's a
love
very
that.
serious thing.
So hit the next 3 super chats, brother. Next 3 super chats.
Okay. Alicia Brown says, Brad, you need to move your books down a shelf so we can see them. Oh, yeah. I should do that. Yes, my
That's
fantasy author books. Can we see them a little bit better if I just adjust my camera?
They're
There we
beautiful.
go.
Are you
There
talking
they
about
go.
Dragon Thief, Dragon Guard, and Dragon Love? Because it's a romance
Dragon
novel?
Hunter.
Oh, Dragon
Hunter's the next.
Hunter.
And Dragon Knight is out. We've just sold all of them. So our 4th book in our series is out there. Not on audio yet, but anybody who wants them, they can check them out on our website, skystonechronicles.com. Yeah, my wife and I,
Is
we're
it
fantasy
true?
co-authors.
Is it true
They're
that you're
awesome.
expanding your offerings in the fantasy genre to include smut to compete with What's the
Carter,
fairy smut
no.
all the chicks in the church
Carter,
are reading
why?
now? Dude, I'm
Carter,
telling you,
no.
man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's a fairy smut.
Is this
Ladies
Lord
in
of
the
the Rings
chat.
fan fiction?
Ladies in the chat,
my
you know you read it. You know you read
No.
it. So anyway.
No smut.
You should do another
of any
live stream
kind
on
in
that
what
one.
we
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on with the super chat. Josette
Right.
Joy says, I can't believe the church actually pushed back. I debunked him months ago, and I'm only 19.
Oh,
Interesting.
Who is this? Who is this?
Hey.
Josette Joy.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, welcome to the debunking club, Josette. Good to hear you're in the fight. Keep going, Brad.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. So, and then S Diddy 371 says, I don't know if y'all know Jared Halverson, but he described anti-Mormon content as superficial, selective, and sensationalized. I really like that definition. Hey, that's a solid one.
Yeah, that's great. I'm
Yeah,
a sucker
but-
for alliteration.
Yeah, but it's also a softball. It's a little bit
Well,
of a softball.
here's the thing. I want to
Wow.
talk
Way
about
to
it.
just
not-
deflate his effort right in front of it. You just took the wind right out of his sails. He probably put his heart into that chat. And you're just like, well, softball.
No, I'm saying
Well, no,
Jared Halverson's
I
definition.
thought that was great. Okay. All right.
I think it's good. I think it's a good thing to have. I want to get more into what happens with anti-Mormons. Like the way that it's not enough to just leave the church. You have to like pathologize the faith, you know? Like
You
that
do.
is
And that's actually what we see with a lot of these ex-member therapists is that they actually, a lot of times, and this is wild. I'm doing a whole series of this on my Instagram where I'm pointing out specific examples of how ex-member, anti-member therapists use cognitive distortions as a primary marketing tool on Instagram. So they'll use a cognitive distortion like black and white thinking or overgeneralizations or emotional reasoning in all of their posts. So if somebody engages with that post, it's because that affirms them in their own mental illness, right? So instead of challenging them and introducing nuance, it's actually polarizing them even more. And so if they become a follower of these therapists, they're going to get more and more and more polarized because they keep using cognitive distortions in their marketing.
Mm-hmm. And the trouble I have with it is never going to help people deal with reality well, you know?
Exactly.
It is only going to trap them even deeper in the problems that they're already experiencing. It's not going to help them find happiness. It may bring them a little bit of comfort for a short amount of time, but it's not the kind of thing that's going to bring them actual happiness and help them find their way out of whatever they're stuck in right now.
Yeah.
It's going to strain their relationships with their active family members because they're going to start viewing them as enablers of abuse and trauma because they keep saying, oh, the church. So here's a funny thing. This is the thing I want to lobby for. So you know how a lot of people are lobbying right now that like, don't call us anti. We're not anti. No, we're not affiliated with anti. Quit calling us the antis.
Yeah. We
I
talked
think
about
what
that
we
a little
should do-
earlier. Yeah.
I think what we need to do, if we give them the post-Mormon label, if we say, all right, you're just post-member, post-Mormon, whatever you want, I think we should say, well, we will give you that if you give us religious trauma. If you stop using religious trauma, we will give you post-member, okay? Because they're hijacking the term trauma, which is linked to like exposure to like death, serious violence or injury or sexual violence, right? Very, very aggressive. And then religious trauma is just a label. It's not in the DSM-5. It's just a label for I felt a little uncomfortable. I maybe had a fearful experience, a shameful experience, or a guilt-ridden experience, and I feel bad about that. And that might be painful. But so I look at what they're doing with those terms, and it's frustrating as all get out because they're saying, no, let's tie religious and then trauma. That mentally sets it up so that the whole religion is now causing intentionally harm that is systemic. And so that's the problem I have with religious trauma. And every time you come at it, you can say like, hey, let's get rid of religious trauma. Just like we don't have grocery store trauma. We don't have elevator trauma. We don't have like weird, like broken, we don't have like weird, I was going to say, like curb trauma. If you've ever tried to like pop a curb and it like catches your scooter at a weird angle and you just like eat it all over the driveway. You don't have that. Just like we don't have like a coffee table broken leg specialist in the medical field, right? We have trauma certified specialists, let's just have that, right? Let's take back that ground is what I'm saying. So if you see me at a parade, that is the sign that I'm going to have. It's like, let's take back religious trauma.
No. So we're already into overtime here. We're 4 minutes into overtime. Let's burn
Catch up
through.
on the super chats.
Let's catch up on the super chats. We're going to read the last half or the last 1/3 of the statement, and then we'll get out of here. So if you guys have any super chats that you want to give us, make sure you send those our way super fast because we are already into overtime. Hit us, Brad Whitbeck.
Okay, we've got Alicia Brown says, in Australia, you can't start your primary role till you have a government working with children's check as well.
Wow.
You can't start a primary role till you have a government working with children's check as well as the church training.
Same in California.
So Australia takes it even a step further.
Same in California. Now, a lot of people will say, well, that's because liberalism and social progressivism made it that way. When in reality, all the studies show, especially as manifest by the Fair Mormon presentation, that it's actually not a red or a blue question. It's just completely state by state. Some states are very culturally libertarian about it, hands off. Some states are very involved, okay? California, very involved. Australia, very involved. And the church complies with all of that. I had to do my child protective training when I was in Boy Scouts, in addition to the child protective training of the church, okay, which was in addition to just the standard protocols that exist in the manual for child protections. There's 3 layers of child protections in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's the safest place that my children go all day. Besides obviously the home. Okay. So yeah, keep going. Brad, last 2 super chats.
Okay, we got Charlene Hutchison says, just wanted to say how much I appreciate you guys. I'm coming up on 1 year endowment and sealing. I get to celebrate by going back to the temple. Dude, Charlene.
Look at that. Mazel tov.
Congratulations.
Hey.
Dude, W in the chat for Charlene. That's so awesome.
Oh, wait, that's Charlene?
Yeah, Charlene Hutchison.
Charlene. I try and start live streams early so she can join us. She is one of the managers of the Discord. Yeah. She also helps moderate the chat. I didn't notice that. But and big shout out to all the Discord mods. I could not do this without you. The Discord mods are freaking amazing. And how fun is our freaking Discord, Brad?
Dude, it is awesome. I love when I have time to actually be there, which is almost never, but it's so awesome. There's so much good stuff going on in there. Like literally anything you can think of that you would be interested in under the sun about the church. There's like a sub chat for that in the Discord. Like it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And Charlene's awesome. She's way out though in Central Time, I think, with you, Hayden. And so there's one time I was doing a call, and I got to go back to doing like a monthly call with the mods. But there's we were on a call with the mods or with the moderators. It was really fun. I said, okay, is there anything you guys need from me? And everybody's like, no, we're good. Finally at the end, she like humbly raised her hand. She says, is there any way we could start the live streams not at like 8:30 Pacific? That's like 10:30 for me, and I'm kind of tired. And I realized this poor girl's hanging out.
Oh man,
yeah, just like bless you.
No, that is really. We're talking trauma. That's trauma right there. Is going to bed at like midnight after doing a live stream, like crawling into bed, having to wake up at 6 the next morning to get the kids at school. Like man, because out here they start school bright and early. The kids have to be at school at like 7:30 in the morning. It is torture.
Wow, that's hardcore. So, okay, last 2 super chats. Brad.
Okay, we got Kevin Bennett, 523, says, Bo seems to epitomize DNC 12138. I'm glad you all are a voice of reason against people who intentionally misrepresent the church. Like the stream. Thank you for always throwing in that like the stream. Hey, let's read that. DNC 12138.
Yeah, are you giving me an excuse to go to our sponsor, Scripture Notes, bro?
What?
Our sponsor, Scripture Notes. Now, here's
you guys got to create a jingle for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that.
Scripture Notes, it's great.
Yeah.
Diddly-doo-doo.
I think that's actually the jingle. What do you do? Scripture. I'm going to harmonize that. Scripture Notes, it's great. Diddly-doo-doo-doo. And then somebody's going to mix those together in AI. Brad, can you do baritone?
Dude,
it?
that
where's
got
LDS
dangerously
Beats?
close to like the Simpsons opening, actually. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Scripture knows.
Yeah, no, I'm
yeah.
with you. I'm with you.
That's
DNC
funny.
12138.
Okay, cool. So, oh, excuse me. Here we are. I'm pulling it up right now in the browser. DNC. Oh, I'm getting the white screen. White screen of death. What's going on here? Oh, no, here it is. Finally. Whew, that scared me. I thought for a second I was like blocked out of Scripture Notes Live, right? So anyway, here we go into the library. DNC. What was it again? 131. Brad, what was it?
38. Or sorry, yeah, 12138.
Okay, so 121.
All of DNC
38.
121 is amazing. Everyone should reread that.
Okay, so 121:38, here it is. It says, "Behold, ere he is aware, he is left unto himself to kick against the pricks, to persecute the saints, and to fight against God. We have learned by sad experience that is the nature and disposition of almost all men. As soon as they get a little authority, as they suppose, they will immediately begin to exercise unrighteous dominion." I actually think that there's an anti-Mormon version of this, at least from defected members of our faith, unfortunate, that is unique to the Mormon church. We've learned by sad experience that it's the nature and disposition of almost all ex-Mormon anti-Mormons. As soon as they get a little celebrity, as they suppose, they will immediately begin to recycle anti-Mormon tropes. I think that's kind of what we're seeing here in the reaction to Bo Euler and the revisionist history that he had suggested on Soft White Underbelly that has now been handily rebuked by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints with facts and logic, or whatever you want to call it. So, Brad, last super chat, hit us, my man. Then we be almost out.
I think that was it. Was there another?
Oh, okay, that's it.
Did
great,
I miss one?
No, you must not have. Maybe I
Oh,
just
there
didn't
was
mark it.
Yeah, no, I think that was
That's
all.
it.
Of them.
Okay, so here's the last final part of the statement that was issued by the church that says the purpose of the helpline. The church abuse helpline exists to help bishops and stake presidents protect and support victims of abuse and comply with civil reporting requirements. It is not intended to shield offenders or protect the church's image. Portrayals suggesting otherwise are inaccurate and a risk undermining a resource designed to help victims and those seeking to assist them. The church remains...
That is such an important part of this. It risks harming people who are in trouble. This is why people need to stop spreading false narratives like this. I get if you've got difficulties with the church and you're trying to work through that, figure it out, but please don't go spreading stuff like this that could be harmful to people who have actually gone through abuse.
Or who are currently going through abuse and now will not talk to their bishop about it because they're like, oh, the bishop's not going to help me. The bishop only cares about himself, you know, and the church is not going to be able to help me, when it's like, no, the church is going to be able to help you. They are a great resource for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it continues to say the church remains fully committed to preventing abuse, supporting victims, and ensuring that local leaders have the guidance and resources needed to respond responsibly, lawfully, and compassionately. What more can you ask for? What organization delivers better? Like, seriously. Outside of...
And that's the hard thing about this whole thing, Cardin, is like, this does not somehow suspend people's agency. This isn't going to make it so that abuse never happens. This is a system we have in place to try to minimize it as much as possible. But that doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. And so I just hope people don't, in their frustration that any has happened ever, start dismantling the system that could help people because they're mad that it happens at all, ultimately risking that more of it happens, right?
Right. So they end up hurting the people that they're claiming to protect,
which is the
really,
thing that
really
frustrates
devious.
me the most. Don't you dare say you're doing this in the name of protecting children when all of your actions actually make children more vulnerable. Don't say you're protecting the gays or say you're protecting the transgender community when everything you're doing is separating them from the community that will statistically help them the most for the longest period of time throughout their lives. Don't you dare do that in some virtue signal, pat on the back kind of way, especially not purposefully, prolonged, and publicly.
Persistently.
So that it serves your ego and boosts your online profile instead of actually serving the people that you're claiming to represent. Bo Euler is one of the most effective anti-Mormons because he can mask his nefarious anti-Mormonism in noble sound bites better than all of them.
Cardin, I've got to say, I don't know if this was an intentional lie on his part. I think maybe he was sincerely remembering something. He's just misremembered it, because clearly the church has records of this, right? And his story does not match. And so it's a question for me still. Like, I can't read the dude's mind. So I don't know if this was an intentional lie on his part, or if he's lied to himself, or
one
what
mistake,
combo
and it's understandable. He has been to the beat of a steady drum, repeating these lies that we
So this
know
goes beyond
are
embellishing,
lies.
is what you're saying.
Actually, Luke Hansen has 2 additional clips in the Discord.
That's what I was just going to go over.
Okay.
Receipts or it didn't happen. So here's Bo telling a different version of the story, leaving out the hotline entirely, says Luke Hansen in his original episode of the Mormon Stories podcast. I'm just trusting Luke that this clip actually goes to the right spot. So here's short-haired Bo Euler. Let's see what he has to say.
And I think, and with the molestation, with abuse cases as well, I remember a brother confessing to me that he abused his child. And I just let him speak. And then when he was done, I said, "Is there anything else?" And I let him finish. And then I said, "Are you calling Child Protective Services, or am I?"
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I think.
This was back when the other bishop. This is back when the other bishop was clout chasing. You remember that? The guy that showed up on ex-Mormon subreddit the very, very next day. The Mississippi bishop. Do you remember that? Yeah, he was on this one. Wow, that's crazy, dude. You can So hopefully that was the full length of the clip. I don't remember. Doesn't seem like a smoking gun to me, but maybe we didn't play enough of the clip.
So the claim is he didn't mention calling the church in that. So in that version, which was sooner, so that would have happened closer to the actual date of when that happened versus soft white underbelly.
It seems
and
like
he
the
didn't
story's
say
getting...
I called the church department and the church department told me not to do anything, and then I just said, "Hey, are you going to call or am I going to call?" I think that's what he said in the soft white underbelly interview, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, and it looks like, well, maybe he just had more time to go into details in the soft white underbelly podcast because he wasn't surrounded by 4 other people trying to get their word in. I don't want to commit the same mistake that people do when they're talking about the different versions of Joseph Smith's first vision. But
different audiences get different versions of things, right?
It does seem like the story gets embellished as time goes on into the church being more and more and more nefarious, and him being more and more and more and more of a hero to such a degree that we can't believe this anymore.
Well, if you look at his professional background, do you remember what that is for Bo?
Yeah, he's a designer and
it's marketing.
Yeah. He's a
marketer, right?
Like a website designer.
Marketers are masters of the spin, right? They're masters of being able to frame something in a way that will get audiences to engage with it, right? So that's why, John Dehlin is not a marketer. He's picked it up, over the years. He's kind of learned a little bit. He's fumbled his way. Alyssa Grenfell, she's kind of done the same thing. Bo is a trained marketer, so he knows about positioning. He knows about framing, and so I think that is probably what's going on, and that's probably why he's better at this than John Dehlin.
Hey, I didn't realize this, but on the last live stream, you were on us with debunking Bo Euler's deeply dishonest diatribe. And this is a clip from Luke Hansen. Let's see if I called this. Let's see what Luke Hansen clipped me. I'm going to see what it says before we go. Let's see what dude, Julie Hanks and Bo Euler. I think Bo Euler is 10 times more effective of an anti-Mormon than John Dehlin.
Oh, for sure.
Ooh. Why do you say that? Tell me. Give me the reasons.
Because look at this opener right now. Charismatic dude, cool hippie curly hair, very low key, t-shirt underneath the working class collared shirt with some simple khakis and rainbow sandals. That's kind of like the cool beach vibe thing. Like, this is the handsome Gen Xer that everybody wants him in their crew, dude. I'm telling you, he's got that. He's got the him and Kwaku. They got the optics down, man. Him and Kwaku, they got the optics down.
But look at that difference between the Mormon Stories version of him and this version of him, right? Like, he looks like a completely different guy. In the Mormon Stories version, I expected that guy to be walking around with cargo pants and a couple of lightsaber hilts in his pockets, right? This guy, the soft white underbelly guy, he looks like he just got off of like a Gap photo shoot. And so I'm seeing a very different Bo Euler, one who has more of a marketing feel, who is saying, like, if I'm going to sell this, I got to look the part as well. I have to look more trustworthy, and I have to act more trustworthy. That's kind of what I'm seeing this.
I could see that.
So what are your thoughts, Brad? Final thoughts, man. Or say what you got to say before we do
we just
thoughts.
got 2 more super chats.
Oh, let's hit it.
And then I can wrap it up with some final thoughts.
Okay.
So Alicia Brown is saying Discord after party.
I will do. Actually, I'll be in the Discord after party. If you guys want to join me, you can. That's great. But for sure, I can commit to that. So
awesome.
Next one.
I'm going to be watching a movie with my kids tonight, so it'll be movie night after party for me.
Hey, no
Nice.
sweat, no sweat.
And then next up is Porch Time. Our friend, one of whom is an ex-Mormon.
Dude,
who
how's
is not
he
an
doing?
anti-Mormon.
Yeah, which one on
My
Porch
hat
Time?
is tipped.
Yeah.
What was that, Card?
Which one? Because there's 3 of them. Is it
3 from Porch
Christopher?
Time?
Yeah, there's 3 of them on the show, right? Are we talking about Chris?
I think Christopher runs the Porch Time account, right? Or is this someone else?
No. I think it's Christopher. I can't remember if their show is called Porch Time or if it's just his channel is Porch Time. But yeah, Christopher, we haven't talked to him in years, man.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Yeah,
we should reach out to him.
We got to get him back on. Keep talking.
Yeah.
What's he got to say?
Yeah. So, he's presenting another option for what anti-Mormon content may be, which is interesting coming from him. So, how about borderline? I hate you, don't leave me. Right? Biazuo. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's Chinese, the Chinese term for ridiculous leftist, and boring, where we're going to cover Kinderhook plates for the 73rd time tonight, guys. So that's
look at that.
3 Bs to describe anti-Mormonism.
Oh,
It's been a night full of alliteration.
Funny.
Yeah. Dude, I really do think we should do another episode on this because it's going to be relevant as people try to distance themselves from that and say, look, okay, cool. If you want to not be anti-Mormon, awesome. Please stop doing that. Here are the behaviors that anti-Mormons engage in.
And we give credit
right?
where credit is due. Julie Hanks came on the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Julie Hanks came on the show and was talking. And I've got a really interesting, I'm going to do a review of our own conversation, but I have so much respect for that woman. She just sat there, bantered 2 hours. I was like, you go, girl. I think it was actually pretty rad, man.
And when she was on the show talking to you, was she calling the church a harmful cult?
No, she's definitely more, see, there's room. There's the reason why I'm willing to engage with Julie Hanks is because she's just a responsible adult. I text her, she'll text me back. She'll say her opinion. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. I do feel comfortable with that. I don't, you don't have to like me, just be honest. Right. And I feel like she is, she's a straight shooter in many regards that I don't get out of other people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And oh yeah, very much so. And also she's got a sense of humor. The first thing to go when you go anti-Mormon, truly actually anti-Mormon, is you lose your sense of humor. And she still has a sense of humor, which actually leads me to think that, you know what I'm saying? She doesn't have that much of an animus. And there is
Right.
There is a difference between somebody who is so pro-feminist that is feminism a false god that's impeding worship of Jesus Christ. And there's a difference between a hyper pro feminist that's so feminist that maybe it veers into misandry and somebody who is against the church. Those are two totally different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing I will say about
By the way,
Judy
I'm not
Hink,
saying that's what she is, but I'm just saying being pro something to the degree that it excludes your Mormonism is different than being anti-Mormon.
Yes. And one thing I will look forward to is if we're ever able to have her on for an episode talking with Tikla or with Brittany or any of the women of Ward Radio where they discuss.
Or Maddie Packer.
Sure, yeah, or Maddie Packer. Yeah, maybe we facilitate a conversation like that where we can discuss some of the things that would be interesting to hear her perspective on. I'd be fascinated to hear what she thinks about people calling the church a cult and whether that's harmful to the people who are still members of the church.
Also, I'm just a
right?
big
Like-
fat softie, and she's always been nice to me, and we have fun conversations.
It's because you compliment her looks.
Quaku's the one crushing, brother. Hard, man.
Is that right?
You know, it's a reoccurring joke on our show that Quaku has
It
a
is.
crush
Yeah,
on
I
Judy
got you.
Hanks.
I got you.
Yes.
But yeah,
So-
so I think, yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing as we're moving forward. Like, how does the conversation get reshaped and how do we renegotiate the terms of what it means to be an anti-Mormon? Because, I would love if people were not anti-Mormon, right? That would be awesome. I want fewer anti-Mormons as often as possible. Let's just make sure that we're not redefining the term to allow the behavior to continue the way it has been, and instead make sure we're redefining the behavior so that people no longer deserve the label, right? Like that's what I hope ends up happening.
So, Brad, are you saying that you don't want to protect the spiritual abusers that are online? Is that what we're getting at here?
Yeah. Basically.
Hey, look at that. Hey, it ties to the theme of the show. Look at that.
Boom shakalaka, man. So,
And dude, yeah, go ahead, Gordon.
no, you finish, bro, finish.
Okay, so I was just gonna say, like, what this really comes down to is if you want to be a good person, you really have to like and subscribe. And if you haven't done that, you're not.
Look at that. Shameless over there.
Yeah. No,
That
but
was so good.
back to the actual subject of this. It seems to me that, like, it's really difficult to judge whether somebody is sincere or not, right? And I would hate for somebody to judge my sincerity based on like 2 or 3 clips of me that they've seen. And that's really difficult. That said, I'm super grateful that the church has corrected the record in this instance. If the church did have a system that was just designed to hide abuse, that would be horrible. That would be a horrible, horrible thing. That is not what the church's system is designed to do. It is designed to help victims of abuse, to get abuse done and over with as fast as possible. It's a system out there to help people. That doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a problem anywhere ever. But let's not, in an effort to like try to stand up for people who have been abused, end up getting in the way of a resource that could actually be very helpful to them, right? That's kind of my final note on this is we have a goal of let's mourn with those that mourn, comfort those who stand in need of comfort. That includes abuse victims. We want to help them as much as possible. It's part of loving God and loving our neighbor. God hates abuse. We've seen that in many talks in conference.
Right.
This is not as though God turns a blind eye to this. This is part of the stuff that led to the like destruction of societies. Go ahead, Hayden.
I'll see your hate, and I think I'll raise you a little bit. It's like that line from The Grinch where God, he's going down that list of little sins. He's like, hate, 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 hate. He gets to abuse, and he says, loathe entirely, right? That is his stance on abuse, okay? And so I think the really nefarious part of all of this framing, if you are framing the church as a system that can enable abuse, you are also labeling all of the faithful and active members of the church as complicit in the system that enables abuse, right? And so that's really, really damaging. You know, a lot of members of the church don't appreciate being labeled as enablers of abuse and trauma when that's not actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, all right, my man Hayden, where can people find you? You're a funny guy, dude. What if people want to
Yeah,
follow
they can
you,
check
dude?
me out on Salty Saints. So we're on YouTube as Salty Saints. Also, we're on Instagram. If they want to chat with us, we have a server for men called dadsneedfriends.com. And so check us out there. We talk faith, family, finance, fitness. We share a lot of memes. We game twice a week. And we also have a fireside chat. So if you've got a big, stressful, heavy load on your back, come out there. We've actually got a licensed social worker, member of the church, faithful, active guy, who can help talk with us every week. We can kind of form that brotherhood there. If you're in a Dead Elders Quorum, this is a great place for you. And so that's dadsneedfriends.com, dadsneedfriends.com. But we are also putting together a big event happening in April, where in St. George, 24th and 25th, we're going to be doing a 2-day event for men, mostly dads. Just come out here. We're going to be doing a lot of protein, video game tournament. We're going to be doing workouts. We're going to be doing workshops, teaching with licensed mental health professionals that are not myself, who are going to be teaching stress management techniques and helping men learn how to improve the relationships in their lives and how to navigate as a faithful, active father. So that's all of that is at dadsneedfriends.com.
Okay, awesome. And Brad, where can people find you besides right here on Ward Radio?
So my socials, I'm at Brad Arico, I think is currently on pretty much everything. And then my wife and I, we're fantasy authors. We write
Smut.
awesome fantasy books.
They narrate it.
Not
It's
smut.
really awkward knowing them both. It's freaking weird. No, I'm just kidding.
It is not smut. It's YA epic fantasy, tons of dragons. It's a blast. It's the Skystone Chronicles. You can check us out on skystoneChronicles.com. We write under a pen name, so if you go to @BlakeRavenPen, you'll find us on our social medias there. Primarily, I think Instagram would probably be the best one to follow us.
Okay, cool. Rock on. So, who owns the URL of your...
Cardin, I've
pen
been
name?
meaning to talk to you about that
Okay,
because I updated
Oh,
our,
look at that. Power move right there.
Cardin bought BlakeRavenPen.com. So we're going to need to get that from you.
Yes,
Because
pretty funny.
I renewed a thing where I got a new domain listing. So I'll talk
Yeah,
to you
you
about
go. I'm just kidding with
Look
you,
at that.
man.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you guys want to support the channel, please consider a generous contribution through Venmo or through Zelle. You guys can help us out there. If you didn't have a chance to watch this on screen, you can also buy some of our popular merch, either a shirt or our very popular War in Heaven veteran hats. Also, if you want to support the channel, we have some really great and generous people who've been getting us stuff off of the Amazon wish list. Here's a cool one from M. Smith. Says, hooray, a caddy for your gear to keep your nightstand crystal clear. My wife also has these bins, but they're hard on the shins, so keep yours a little less near. Oh, that's funny. This was actually for an organizer requested on the Amazon wish list that we use inside of the studio. Somebody also recently just hooked us up with a new SD card for our Osmo Pocket 3, as well as some adapters, USB-C to USB-A adapters for a lot of the equipment that you use here in the studio for some of our outdoor podcasts. So thank you very much, all the donors that have been helping us out. We're very, very grateful for your assistance. Like, this is what keeps it going. So if you guys can support us financially, that's great. If you can't, please purchase something on the Amazon wish list, or just like this stream, share it with a friend. There's something that you can do if you like what we offer here and you feel, consistent with our mission statement. So anyway,
ultimately,
yeah,
I think just a final shout out to everybody. Do what you can to watch out for abuse, to stand up for people who are victims of it. Do everything that you can.
No. Sorry. No. Tell the victims to go home and defend the church at all costs. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're really here for, right?
Have them call the church lawyers.
Yeah.
That's wild.
No millstones. No. We're here trying to catch millstones at the bottom of the cliff. It's so stupid. Yes. Sorry, Brad. Finish.
No. That was basically it. I think it's, I don't know, but we are part of a faith that is striving to love God and love our neighbor, and part of that includes helping people who are in difficult situations like that. Do your ministering, do everything you can to help everyone around you, and you will make the world a better place. Because at least for me, when I see stuff like this, I'm like, dude, what the heck am I supposed to do? Like, I wasn't there for this situation. How do I make a difference, right? And I think the key thing is taking our ministering seriously, actually doing our studies and making sure that we're taking care of our souls and doing what we can to be good members of our community and faith.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I dig what you're saying, my man. I dig what you're saying. So thank you to everybody that hung out with us today. This was a great live stream. You members are the best. Thank you, Mary Lou Howarth, who's always giving memberships to the chat. There's a video that's out right now as a members first video. I believe it doesn't come out until 7:30, but it's with the Holy Rebellion before their Peacemakers Conference tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. They confronted me on Peacemaking Online. On Peacemaking Online.
That's something I gotta see.
So yeah, that video is literally coming out in an hour. And if you're a member of this channel, you actually get to see that first. About once a week, we have a members first video. You get priority inside of the chat. You also get priority access to our earliest videos. It's a great way to support the channel as well. So if you've been given a membership in the chat, please make sure that you renew the membership. It helps us keep this ball rolling. So it's been real, and it's been fun, and it's been real fun. For this and more, please make sure you guys check us out at wardradio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement. I'm gonna fly it to the moon.